himself an afternoon. Swider fielding his third three already and one.
Welcome, Coach GMac, to the Swider Show with Patty Casey. We're super excited to have you. Obviously, long overdue having you on the show. One of the main reasons why I came to Syracuse. So, just overall, just very thankful that you came on the show, Coach.
You kidding me? You guys texted me last week, and I responded with one word. Do you remember what the word was?
Done.
Done.
Yep.
You want me on? Done. It's good to see you guys.
Yeah, no, it's been a while. It's been a while. Obviously, you came out here to California. We got some Italian food. Actually, that tweet. Yeah, no, that tweet went pretty viral. I'm surprised you didn't see it, Patty.
Oh, I did see that. I think I gave that a retweet, actually. That was a while ago. I thought you were talking about recently. You guys didn't invite me, but we'll move past it, I guess.
Last month, right? Month and a half?
Yeah, month and a half, something like that, yeah.
I flew out to California, was doing a little recruiting, and within the first, 11 minutes I was on the ground, I was having dinner with Swidey.
Perfect.
I got this. I was he's been living in LA since, 2011. I'm like, where are we going? He sent me to the address. I'm like, let's get it.
Oh, he had it regimented, yeah.
No question. You know how he is.
Yep, exactly. He's got his salmon, his brown rice.
No question.
Just a club sandwich for the next day.
I got there. He already had some arugula, whatever type of salad or something.
Yeah. Makes you feel like an asshole for getting a chicken sandwich. Yeah.
Geez, I can't get double cheeseburgers. Yeah.
Counting them there.
But yeah, man, obviously only you would start off with something like that. But yeah, just kind of starting off where with the team so far this year. I mean, obviously me and Patty, we watched the first exhibition game. I thought you guys got better as the game went on. Obviously, young team and everything. But how do you think the team's looking so far? How was the summer? How was preseason? And you're gonna get games going in the next week, so you got to be pretty excited.
Yeah, a lot different than kind of last year with you guys' experience with a veteran group. With this year with 6 new guys, 6 freshmen and transfer sophomore. We felt like we have a really good core group with this young guy with the 6 incoming freshman class, but you can't simulate. It's like when people say you can't simulate a Syracuse zone, you can't simulate live action. Mm-hmm. So as excited as we've been for the months of work that they put in, what we think we have and how talented we think they can be, there was still a lot of unknowns of going into last Tuesday night, of kind of getting their feet wet to the college level. I don't think we could have prepared for, let me rephrase that. I don't think we could have scheduled a better opponent.
Yeah.
I was listening to the radio station the day after we played, and it took everything in my power not to call in, because someone made the comment of, I don't care what you say, it's a Division II team. And the level of disrespect that I took of that, the level of disrespect for the amount of kids that are talented in this game, that put in the amount of work, but more so a Final Four team from the Division II level that had won 33 games last year, that was really, really talented and experienced. I think that's the thing that we're missing here, is the experience factor. So, going in, I knew man, and we told our guys, this team's really good. You have to understand, we watched the film, we went through the scout, this team's really good. So for a first game, I don't think we could have been better tested to face a little bit of a punch, holy Lord, we're here, we're in it.
Yeah.
And then to battle back. And I think, we played the last 12 minutes plus 23. So
yeah.
Like you said, we started off slow. It took us, and we're mixing in defenses. We played a big rotation. Mm-hmm. So we're just kind of seeing what guys are doing when we're in live action. And that's what these games are for. We just saw last night, I think it was, that Louisville lost to a Division II team. So
yeah.
The level of experience that Joe Lombardi's group at IUP had, coming in for us as a young group to face that, just really the perfect type of schedule for us to kind of get these guys going.
I remember talking to Pete Corsanini last year. Shout out Pete, and he was like, "Yeah, we scheduled a top 5 Final Four type Division II team for our first game." Mm-hmm.
And it's also
Go ahead.
The reason why it's so like productive, especially for this team, is IUP is grown men every single year. Like I played them 2 years at Youth Sciences. My sophomore year, I actually had the box score here. I went 0 for 8 in 30 minutes and had 0 points. So that tells you how I played against them. But they're literally like fifth-year seniors, grown men. Like it's college basketball. So if you have young guys, it's like the perfect preparation for like actual games.
Yeah, it was perfect. I mean, it really was. And the fact that we had to take a punch, I think you find a team's true character is when, you get hit in the mouth a little bit. And,
Definitely.
I think the one thing that we did, and we've seen it over the years when you guys have experienced it, is when we go into our pressure, I think for a young group, it alleviated the pressure of exhaustive possessions. It sped the game up a little bit, and they started to kind of just play. So we let them go a little bit. So now like the pressure of being in a close game kind of went away a little bit because you were playing so fast, you didn't think about it as much. And once we did that, it just sped the game up and our guys played a little bit more freely. But yeah, like Patty said, like I think that not only physically, but then you talk about personnel in terms of like, I talked to Coach Lombardi before the game and I said, you guys have a really good group, huh? He's like, yeah, we love this team. Like, obviously we had a lot of success last year, but he said, he's like, I think I have 2 of the best guards in all of Division II. And I think I have the 2 best big guys in all of Division II. And one of the things that their 5-man does, I think it was Porterfield, is he's 6'10", but he shoots threes. So you're running a 4 or 5 out motion. And now we're working on our man-to-man all summer. And now all of a sudden, instead of Jesse Edwards being the pick and pop guy, he's 24 feet, So it was really productive for us because we saw different coverages that we needed to make. We went smaller for a stretch with Malik Brown at the 5. So just like really, it was kind of, honest to God, it was the perfect matchup for us.
That kid started 0 for 9 too, which is so impressive. And he just kept pucking.
Yeah, and he kept going, and I think that's
he ended up shooting pretty well.
It's funny. I recently showed a recruit Cole Swider's tweet about one of our players. I think Chris Bell had gone. What was it? 1 for 9 in our first game, and
1 for 9, 1 for 6 from 3 or something like that.
Coach, Coach said in the post game, well, he's capable of going 6 for 9 next game. And Cole had tweeted like, yeah, that's why I love him. He's the best. And it was the same thing on the other side. Like, I mean, Cole, you got to do better than that. You got to keep shooting the ball. I mean, what are you doing?
I'm getting chills down my back right now just because I just have so much love and appreciation for all you guys because, at the beginning of the season, I was 3 for 22 or something like that.
Yeah, early.
I remember after the Pitt game, coach was like, Cole, like, can you make a shot? Like, come on. Yeah. And but it wasn't like, all right, you're not going to play next game. It's like, all right, keep shooting. I believe you. Yeah. And Patty talks about all the time how much faith he has in his shooters, and just that tweet or that comment that he had, it just gave me chills down my back. It was just unbelievable.
I think our conversations are probably more short-winded. I'd be like, Cole, shoot the fucking ball and knock it off. Just shoot it.
Knock it off.
Yeah, stop it.
But yeah, man, obviously, so IUP was a great first test. And then obviously coming up into this regular season, obviously you guys have one more exhibition game. What are you guys just trying to improve on? Is man-to-man a thing that we're going to go to? Because obviously you guys look really good in the zone. I thought you guys were really active, not taking anything away from me, Buddy, and Jimmy, but the zone looked like a typical 2-3 zone with those athletes. And I thought Cordier played great being active. Just kind of touch on some of those things of what we can kind of expect as Syracuse fans coming up.
Well, I think that's the exciting thing really kind of with this group is, last year's team with you guys, we were just so explosive in stretches offensively. Like that was our ability to shoot last year. I think we were a top 15 team offensive efficiency.
Yeah.
We just didn't get enough stops and stretches. I think this team's a little bit different in terms of the ability to shoot. Probably widespread isn't as productive, but from the personnel standpoint is we probably do have a little bit more defensive versatility.
Yeah.
So length, athleticism, ability to guard multiple positions. I think man is a thing that this team is going to. I think it's going to probably be a more traditional Syracuse team. Like, even when I played from my years, whenever we needed to flip or change a game, I think back to the 2003 national championship season a lot. Like we played man a lot in games. Like we came back from like 13 or 14 games in the second half to win. And I'd say more than half of those games, we had switched to man at some point. Do I think our zone could probably be a little bit more disruptive this year than last year? 100% I do. I believe that. I think that's I think that's with the length that we have at the wing position. We have multiple bigs this year. One of them's, really two of our guys with Munir and Peter are both young. But obviously, and by the way, let me add this. We would have peaked at the right time, like a typical Syracuse team last year, had Jesse Edwards not broken his wrist.
For sure.
Let's just throw that out there.
For sure.
Okay, so I'll just leave that on the back burner. However, I do believe with this year's group that both defenses can be productive. I also think it gives you the option playing man-to-man that you can play small in stretches. Even against IUP with the fact that Malik Brown, who's like, Elijah Hughes came in at one point and played in the summer, and I saw him later that day, and he's like, "Hey man, the kid Brown's like a 3-and-D guy in the league. Like, he ends up being like 6'9", 6'10", but he's an elite level defender, so he could play the 5."
Yeah.
So if you ever need to go man to man and flip a defense and switch everything, and Malik's option, Benny's an option because he's huge, and so there's a lot of different things that we can do. Justin Taylor can play multiple positions. You saw Quadir kind of change the flow of the game. And one of the things about him is he's kind of done that pretty much consistently in practice every day. Just his energy level. He's really a point guard, but you have Judah and you're trying to get Quadir minutes because of his size at 6'6", and more so because of his intensity level and willingness to put his nose in, as we would like to say, get in the mud. He can give us some versatility there and play stretches at the 2 or the 3 defensively. So I think this is going to be kind of a throwback group where we got to figure it out as we go in terms of our defenses are versatile. We could play a lot of different lineups. But again, it's one of those things that you go game by game, and again, coming into Tuesday night, we're going to this might drop after the game, right? So we're actually
Thursday.
Yeah. So we'll have played tomorrow night by the time this drops. So hopefully, we can continue to throw out a couple different rotations, play multiple defenses, and get these guys some valuable minutes. And it took me. I had this conversation with Red today at practice, and we talked about this. It took me until. I didn't get much out of the exhibition games. I took like 4 shots in one game and I had like 4 points, but it took the loss at the Garden in our first real game to Memphis for me to be like, man, I could have done a lot of damage. And I didn't play great. I shot like 4 for 11 or 12.
Yeah.
Had 13 points, and we lost, to a team that eventually went to the NIT, and we became a team that won a national championship.
Yeah.
With a young group. Like, the amount of room to grow is there. So there's a lot of excitement for us in terms of what we hopefully can potentially become.
You guys played man in that game, right? Against Memphis, didn't you? Like
I would
first half?
imagine. Yeah, I would imagine at some point we
I
did.
think I was watching that on YouTube during class last year, but
I haven't watched.
I was curious.
Patty, I don't watch those ones. I don't watch those games. The
losses?
You end up losing.
I was actually curious. That was a question I was going to ask you is, like, obviously there's so many freshmen here now, and we had Joe on last week, and we talked about the similarities with his career and how he's like, I mean, you've been basically like the perfect mentor for him throughout his career and then also personally. But how do you like balance, or what advice are you giving to like a freshman, like all these freshmen that are going to have opportunities? Like, how much do you think back of when you were in their shoes and like getting the season going with as a freshman who's like has all this responsibility?
Yeah, I think one of the things that I have to kind of factor in is what, like, not just the guys that are playing, it's the guys that aren't.
Yeah.
And I have to sympathize with the guys that aren't in the same situation I was. So the guys that might not play right away. And the greatest piece of advice that I've ever been given, and you guys know this, is, kids spell love Time. I say it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to honestly live my coaching life in that term, is I have to spend time with you guys. So I have to show Cole Swider the same amount of love and appreciation and time that I show Patty Casey. And I did to you. It was
100%.
It was a week or two into Patty's season last year, and I walked over to you and I said, start showing up at 3:00.
Yep.
And he didn't miss a day since.
Yeah.
And you guys know, like, over the course of my career, I've always been on the court at 3 to 4 o'clock. Our practices start at 4. So from 3 to 4 o'clock, I am available to every guard that works in our group. Like, we're going to get some work in. So I think the biggest message that I can give them is, don't shortcut the process.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're about this and you want to be successful, let's put in the time. And that goes from the guy that might not play every minute to the guy that's going to play every single minute. And I need to treat and hold you both the same amount accountable, if that makes sense. And
yeah,
makes
and
perfect
I have
sense.
to find the common ground. I might treat Cole a little bit different than I treat Patty in terms of how I
Yep.
talk to you separately. Because Patty might be going through something different than Cole's going through, because Cole said it. Like, Cole missed, 8 shots the game before.
Yep.
But he knew he was going to play. Well, the other guy might not be in the same situation.
Yep.
So part of my job is I have to also sympathize with the people that weren't, because I was in Cole's situation. I was the guy that could play those amount of minutes, could miss that amount of shots. And I knew I was still going to come back. And there's a lot of power in that, because you could build your confidence through that. Like, that's empowering. But there's also a few guys that aren't going to be in that scenario. So, I think there's just such a fine line of drawing back on some of my experiences for guys that are in Cole's situation, and then sympathizing and encouraging and continuing to work and stay positive with the guys that might not be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So last week, me and Patty actually talked a lot about you. You know what I mean? Because obviously you made such a big impact on my life in that 1 year, from recruiting me. I mean, even from before I went to Villanova at first, then you made such a big impact on my life before then, and then now. But one of the things that we talked about, that I don't know if you worked on this, if this comes naturally to you, but your ability to be an ultimate competitor, killer, freaking, like, have your mind locked in on the game, know everything that's going on, while at the same time being able to make a joke in practice. Like, we're all hanging out, make a joke. Be able to, I in and out a free throw against Duke or I'm in and out goes in the ACC tournament. I look over to you, you're like, you know what I mean? Like, to have that wherewithal in those small moments, like Patty and I was like, we've never seen anything like it. Like, can you talk about that a little bit? And you might not even know that, how special that is, but did you work on that? Is that something that you learned from Coach Boeheim? Is that something that you've developed over the years? Just kind of talk about that a little bit.
Thank you. I thank you. That actually is an incredible compliment. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I think, to be quite frank, it's just who I am.
Yeah.
I think you guys know me as well as pretty much any player I've ever coached. I value the people I'm around. And if you're willing to be all in with me, like you guys were, I'm all in it with you. Win, lose, or, there's no draws, but the same.
Yeah.
Like, however this shit goes, like, we're in it together. So if we've got sweat equity in this together, like, we're gonna win together, we're gonna lose together, and I'm okay with the results, because I know we've done everything we can to prepare for the moment. So you rattle a shot in at Duke and you look at me and I'm probably like, oh shit, you're lucky that one. You're lucky that one went in. And we laugh about it because I know you're going to step up confidently to the next one because we've done it a gazillion times. So yeah, I just I don't take lightly what I do. And it's funny, Eric Devendorf and I did his podcast a few years ago. And I remember I was actually sitting in my basement. I had the like Final Four picture behind me. And when I first got into coaching, like I was so obsessed with winning a national championship. And what I found out in such a like short, brief period of time was, yeah, that's why I'm willing to do everything in my power of every day of why I go to work. But through the process, it's about the people that you go into that battle with.
Yeah.
So it was more so, I don't know. I fall in love with the people I'm around. I believe in them because they've been willing to show up at 3:00 every day. They've been willing to watch the film sessions every day. I think the guys that I've butted heads with the most have been the guys that fight that process. And it's because I'm willing to go to every exhaustive length to prepare to win. And if you're not, I don't know if I can trust you in those moments. So the guys that I know will do all those things, even if they don't accomplish it, I know they gave everything they could to try to. And I can live with that result. So, do I lighten the mood every now and then in the heat of us killing each other? I do. And I do it intentionally because it's my way of being like, man, I love being in the gym with you guys.
Yeah.
It's always placed perfectly.
And I appreciate you guys.
Every time. Or you say sorry?
Yeah, no, you couldn't have said it any better from my standpoint too. I mean, I like having that relationship with you this past year was something I hadn't had in my college career. Just be able to talk to you as a coach, as a older brother, as a mentor. I like Patty knows my senior speech this year. We didn't have the year that we wanted to. Honestly, going into the year, I thought we could be a really good team. You know what I mean? Make a big run. But at the end of the day, we have the season that we do, and I'm up on the podium crying, like choked up, and it's mostly because you, Coach Boeheim, obviously all the coaches and D Nick, but just the sweat equity that we went into every single day with, and to be able to resurrect my college basketball career it's just I'm getting emotional just thinking about it right now. Just obviously you talk about the process and everything like that, and I hear you 100%, and I know Patty's the same exact way. Just
yep,
and everything like that.
I also think I don't think that group, in a lot of ways, we were very like our chemistry, as you know, GMac. It was a very like good team. Like we were definitely friends off the court. It was like
It's one of my favorite.
Definitely helped us out.
Let's take record out. Because don't forget. All right, I'll let you finish. Don't forget. No, I'm being dead serious.
Yeah, I got it.
There are very few times that you can go through a basketball season, lose a game, come in with the same group that just lost a heartbreaker, and they're going to give you everything they got.
Yep.
It was remarkable to me. I was so grateful for the work ethic of last year's team, and we could have easily been a 22 or 23 win team. Let's not.
Oh my God,
we should have been
four bounces away.
Could have, yeah. But
sorry.
That was basically essentially what my point was. Is like that locker room, and then the extension of the coaches. Like Swider, we lose to Colgate, right? It's lower point than anyone could have imagined. We're sitting there like after the game, everyone's ragging on us on Twitter and everything. Get like a book from GMac in the guards group message. And it's like, all right, like we'll be fine. Like we could get through this. You know what I mean? And there's obviously way too many moments like that last year, but I don't think a regular team or locker room gets through some of the points that we got through last year. And then, I mean, could talk about the last game if we want to, but like it was almost another like authentic Hughes run. And I don't think that happens for a lot of teams. You know what I mean?
I remember going to go ahead.
I think that's a testament to, I had always felt with last year's group, because of the work, that we were going to break through. And I think we're on the verge. I think we won 4 in a row when Jesse broke his wrist. If I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Then, to drop 2 games to Miami, we're up 18 in both games. We lost. The kid Caleb Love hit a deep free at Carolina. Cole had like 36 in that game. One of the best. Yeah, one of the best road performances I've ever seen, player or coach in our program. We had lost at Notre Dame. We should have won. We had lost Virginia at home. We should have won.
Florida State at home. We should have won.
Florida State at home. Should have won. I was just really appreciative of all the heartbreak. There wasn't a day that we didn't come into the Mello Center and play the same music.
Yep.
Same energy. I was mic'd for one practice and I walked by and I was like, I've never been prouder as a coach. My players are listening to Pearl Jam. So just the group, the vibe, like the lifelong friendships we knew we were creating in the process of that. But just like how proud I was. I recently gave a speech at an event a few weeks ago. And I had spoke at it last year. And one of the things I had said to the group last year before our season started, I said, I think you're going to really love watching this group. And I said it again this year. I said last year that you're really going to love watching this group. I said, I know I did. And I've never been prouder of a team, regardless of record, of how they fought through and prepared for the next one. So I've had so many experiences. I've been at the lowest of low, and then next thing you know, you go on a Final Four run in the coaching side of this industry. And there's a lot of good. There's some that are bad. To me, the only thing bad about last year was the final result of record, the preparation, the people, the work. I don't think there's anybody even in our fan base that didn't watch us and say the next day, like, man, they gave everything they had.
Yeah.
I think there's a hell of a lot to be said about the people that do that.
Sure. Yeah, obviously we got a little off track there, but I mean, if you guys know GMac, he can inspire you quick. You know what I mean? Like especially the way we have conversations. But let's go back to you deciding your college decision. What kind of went into that college decision? What other schools were involved? And then what ultimately led you to the Syracuse and to that legendary career?
Jeez, dude, you're talking like 2 decades plus away. Like that's how old I'm getting.
But you remember it like it was yesterday. So I don't know why.
Ago. Like that's terrifying. Let's see. I really liked Penn State. Was kind of the first one that came full steam. And then Syracuse was next. And then we went out to Vegas and I kind of had my coming out party, had a couple 40 pieces against the best competition in the country with like a low grade AAU team, like, our local.
Whoa.
I shouldn't say low.
No, I'm kidding.
But like
in this context, context,
we're like a couple low Division I players and like,
if that,
D2, D3 guys, like, but we play well together.
Yeah, always.
And then we went out to Vegas and it kind of blew up. And then it just it went from there. It was like, Matt Doherty was at Notre Dame. He left Notre Dame, went to Carolina. He kept recruiting me there. Then Mike Bray got Notre Dame and he started recruiting me at Notre Dame. But I think when it came down to it, I'd gotten kind of close and I was really digging Billy Donovan at Florida and how he was recruiting me. And I was really digging Syracuse. Like those were the two. Like I just felt like these two programs understand my game. And I had developed a really good relationship with both programs. And then the first time I had driven from Syracuse, or I'm sorry, from Scranton to Syracuse, and Patty knows this.
It's the easiest ride in the world.
It's the easiest ride.
It's the best ride in the country. It's not even
It's
close.
so remarkable how easy it is. So we drove up here, our AU team, and we played against the all-star team from like the Jim Boeheim camp of like 400 kids, our AU team. And I walked in the dome the first time, and Hop was recruiting me, and coach hadn't even seen me yet, and he Hop tackled me in like the bleachers in front of my mother and father, and was like humping me like a dog. And then I hit like, I had a big first. I hit like 7 or 8 threes in the first half, and we were up like 100. And at halftime, we were doing layup drills, and I just looked up, and my mother and father came up to watch it, and I like looked up in the stands, and coach was sitting in between my mom and dad, and I just kind of looked up, and I'm like, this must be going pretty well. So like I left Syracuse that night with an offer, and like the relationship had grown from there. But it was one night when Billy Donovan had called, and back then you could only get one call in a week, which is crazy because now I could text a kid 200 times tonight. So I got a call at the house, and it was from Billy Donovan, and I missed it, and then I saw it on the caller ID, and then Booch called me. Like, hey, Coach Donovan just called me. He wants you to call him. I was like, all right, I'll call him. Like 20 minutes went by. He's like, hey, Booch is like, what are you doing? He called me again. He wants you to call him. So like by the third time Booch called me, I called Coach Donovan, and I talked to him. I talked to him for a half hour, and I had a great conversation with him. And I hung up the phone. My dad and I were sitting on opposite ends of our couch, and like 5 minutes had gone by after I had got off the phone, and he said, hey, why didn't you call Coach Donovan back right away? And I just turned to him. I was like, Dad, I'm getting sick of this. Like I kind of know what I want to do. And he didn't say another word. He picked up the remote control, and he turned the television off, and he put the remote on the coffee table. He said, let's talk about it. He goes, you want to go to Syracuse, don't you? And I go, yeah. And he pulled out, my father he was like meticulous. He had index cards, and he pulled out index cards, and he had literally notes on every school that was recruiting me. Had never talked to me about it. Just wanted me to go through my process. But when it was time to break it down, we broke it down. And he's like, they got 4 guards. I'm like, I don't care.
Yep.
I'll beat them out. So that was like, it was that night that I realized like I don't want to go through the process anymore. And I'm digging kind of what Syracuse is telling me. And let's make this move.
So you were a junior, right, when you committed? Was it early on?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. It was early. What would be considered
Summer going into summer.
I would say back then it was probably early. Yeah, I was committed.
Yeah.
Like I was in Ocean City, Maryland on vacation, and I was committed to Syracuse. So it would have been, I was at ABCD, I was committed. So probably April. No, as a matter of fact, it was April of my junior year, because when I called to commit, the coaching staff was at the Final Four.
Yeah. I mean, Swider knows I could do like an hour and a half on your hand and career, but we'll move on quickly here. I got to ask you got to tell the Trinity story though, or the Trinity game story.
Okay.
For those who don't know. Swider, do you know this story?
Okay.
I definitely told you.
Which one? Because we played them twice.
Your senior year, yeah.
You don't want to talk about the junior year when they beat us?
Oh no, listen, we got all night. You could talk about either one of them. But you said you don't bring up the losses.
I don't bring up losses, but
Yeah,
I have to bring up this story. So I had lost my freshman and sophomore year in the state championship, and then we lost to Trinity my junior year in the state semifinal. They were number 1 in the state. They had won, so they beat us in the semifinal, won a state championship. And they had Johnny Morris. Sean Morris is his older brother who was on that team, and Sean's a assistant coach with Yeah, good dude. He's one of my good friends. He's assistant coach at Quinnipiac with
Yep.
Cole's guy Bake.
Yep.
Dunleavy?
Yeah, Baker Dunleavy.
Yeah.
So they beat us, and I'll never forget it. A local Scranton Times news reporter had wrote a big article in the Scranton Times that Johnny Moe should be state player of the year because they beat us and they won the state championship.
I'm sure he took kindly to that, reading that.
I never did an interview with him again.
Yeah.
So a few weeks later, I got small school state player of the year, but Trinity had beaten us and won the state championship.
Did he win?
Huh?
Did this kid win?
No, I got state
No,
player.
he won.
Okay.
Come on.
But he had wrote in the article. Between that coming out and so whatever. So a year goes by and they were number 1 in the state. We were number 2 in the state. They hadn't lost a game in that time span a whole year later. So we played them in the same gym, same situation to go to the state championship. And I said it to this day. I've never been more mentally prepared for a basketball game in my life. Like I had been waiting a whole year to get back to that gym for that moment and to be like, there is no doubt who the best player in the state is and who the best team is. So I took advantage of the moment. It's just as simple as that. I had it like a out of body, but I had mentally, I'm a believer in that. I know Cole, you are in the visual process. But yeah, I was so locked in, engaged, and I had my mindset. I was like, I say it to this day, and it's the God's honest truth. Had I not, I don't think I'd become the player I was. I lost my freshman year.
Oh, really?
State championship. It drove me. I lost my sophomore year. It drove me. I lost my junior year. It drove me. And then to get to my senior year with the same group of friends that won a state championship in our 8th grade year at Holy Rosary, to get back to that point, to have an opportunity to win a state championship as friends. But me, like the psycho that I am, like I had prepared mentally for that moment for a whole year, like waiting for that opportunity again. And that article was in the back of my mind of like, well, this is what he said about you last year. Leave no doubt this year. And it was just one of those games. Yeah. So I had, Patty wants me to tell them. So
say this.
He wants me to talk numbers.
Yeah. It's a good story.
So, and I had no idea. I didn't know how many points I had until the game ended, but I finished with 55.
Yep.
I had 41 points at halftime. And Cole, do you know how many we won by?
We guys won by 40?
7.
Really?
We won by 7.
Yep.
And the funny thing is, the year they beat us the year before, I think they won by 7. So they were a very, very good team. Yeah. They had Johnny Morris, really good player, went to Old Dominion. And was it Mikey Walker was the point guard. He was a little bit younger, left-handed point guard who went to Penn State.
Oh, wow.
So they had a really good team. Obviously, rightfully so. I mean, they had gone undefeated that year until that game. And I got to give a shout out to Coach Kostelak. Coach Kost, he's a good dude. He's still at Trinity. He's still doing it. One of the great but yeah, that's my Trinity story. But mentally, I was like,
yeah. Swider, I had that game when I was probably, 10 years old on a VHS tape. My buddy Patrick Cosgrove, shout out to him. We would go over his house and watch it like once a week.
I mean, yeah, no, it sounds amazing. I mean, I don't want to get too far ahead, but obviously that next year you play in a pretty big game, a pretty big championship game, and you have a out of body experience in that first half as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, talk about it like a good 12-month stretch. A state championship and national championship in like a 12-month stretch. Just like surreal. I think I honestly, God, I think about it to this day, like how blessed I am to have experienced that, like to win a national championship. It's like it's absurd. It's just so hard.
Can't relate. Yeah.
Just being in Syracuse for this past year, I can only imagine the amount of buzz, the love, you guys have a parade? You guys must have had a parade, right?
Yeah, it's 20 years now. It's 20-year reunion. I can't give it away, but I think we have some things lined up. I don't know if everything's been released yet. The one thing, there's like a lot of really cool things going on.
Awesome.
I think at some point we're going to have the group back together. But I do know there's going to be like I don't know if like a 30 for 30 type, but like, I think there's going to be some really cool footage of all the guys that have been interviewed for what they're trying to put together. And I hope it's like an extended version. Like, I hope it's as long. I got like a small snippet, and I told him, I was like, well, this can't just be an hour.
Yeah.
Like this, you just showed me 3 minutes. Like this needs to be like an hour and 45 minutes. Like this needs to be the Redeem Team. Like it's
this should be a
Like
last
2-parter.
10
episodes.
like this was only 3 minutes. I felt like I was watching it for like a second. I was glued, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's remarkable just how fast it's gone. It's already been 20 years, but I'm hoping, you know, we've never had that group back together to be celebrated.
Wow.
And part of it is because of Melo. I mean, I've been coaching since 2009, and Melo's like, it's asinine that he's not signed to an actual team.
Yeah, makes no
It's so
sense.
stupid. It is so ridiculous. But he's still doing it. Like it's remarkable.
Yeah, so I actually saw Melo in the Lakes facility when I was in summer league, and he still looks great. You know what I mean? He works out every single day, and he'll get signed one of these. They keep on saying after the first 20 games he'll get signed. So
you know who was with him? Cole, was Elijah. Elijah Hughes was with him. They had played pickup at Lifetime. Would it be? And is that New York, right?
That's right near Patty. Yeah.
Lifetime's New York. Yeah.
That's Chris's place, right? Brickley.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they were down there, and Elijah was down there. So I had talked to him. He had come up to Syracuse to work out. We had worked out a few days later. So he called me. He's like, yo, Mac, I'm coming into town. Can we work out? I was like, yeah. So he came in, we worked out, and he was like, I was with Melo. He's like, yo, dude, he's the most physical player I've ever, like, think about that. He's my age. He's 38 or 39.
Yeah.
And he's still like, and I said that, like, I probably said it to your group last year. Like,
You said to me when he was a freshman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I played with them with the most physical offensive player you can imagine. Like, by the time, like, you played against really good physical defenders, by the time it was ended, like, you were sore. Like, you were sore because you had to guard him, you know? And Elijah was like, yo, GMac, like, this dude is true. Still doing it, you know?
Yeah.
All time.
So obviously we went through your freshman year, but just talk about Joe tells a story all the time that when you came into his house with Coach Boeheim, that it was a similar situation going in, and Coach Boeheim was like, Jerry was our sixth guard coming in, and then he just beat everyone out, Joe. So I don't even know why you're going to worry about that.
Yeah, he still tells, the coach still uses that as an example, and I think every time he tells it, there's another guard. I mean, Jerry's like one of 12 guards.
12 guards, yeah.
Yeah, he still got it. Yeah, I think it's just his way of being like, you know, he had a really good career here, and you know, the competition didn't scare him. And I think that's kind of who Coach is. You guys know him. Like, it's kind of who we are. Like, competition doesn't scare us. Like, it motivates us. And I think the guys you want to recruit are the guys that, when you say that to them, they're like, yeah, I'm not worried about that. Like, I'm going to come in and I'm going to earn what I get. So I think that was our way of telling Joe, like, you know, it's not going to be just handed to you, but if you believe in who you are, which we think you're that guy, like, we think you could play here. And that's how we recruited him. And, you know, Coach did a great job with him. Yeah, I think one of the cool things about Joe's recruitment too is we got a chance to see him win a state championship. The championships had moved from in New York State. They had moved they had typically been in Glens Falls every year, but for some reason the contract didn't work out. They moved him to Binghamton that year. So Coach and I drove down to Binghamton and watched Joe. I'm sorry, I'll rewind that. So it was previous to that. The state championships in football are in the Carrier Dome. So Coach and I went over to the Carrier Dome because we had gone up and watched Joe practice in football, like as an unofficial visit. So, and then, you know, a few months or weeks later, we had watched him win a state championship in football at the Dome. And then, you know, they go through their season, and then in Binghamton, we drove down an hour south on 81 and got a chance to watch him win a state championship in basketball. Like, so kind of a really cool, unique recruiting story that we were able to see one of the kids that we were trying to go after. And by that point he was committed to watch the kid win 2 state championships in one season.
Incredible.
Yeah. But you know, kind of my example, I think what he fails to mention is one of the guards got thrown out of school. And Billy Edelin served a 12-game suspension. So, you know, that helps the case.
Yeah, for sure. So obviously after your freshman year, you guys win a national championship. You obviously have a great year. Kind of go through the mindset of the team going into your sophomore year, and kind of with it being your team, obviously you have great players. Hakeem Warwick with you still great players, but now you're comfortable. Kind of talk about your sophomore year and obviously just the step that you took going into that year.
Just really experienced. You know, I felt really confident going into that year. You know, nowadays I think about it too. Like nowadays, if I had that type of season now, like would I have gone?
Yeah,
like, I've entered the draft. You know, going into that year.
Did you ever consider that or no?
You know, Coach Booch was the first one to be like, "Yo, are you going?"
Oh, he brought it up, really?
Yeah. I'm like, what? Like, I never thought about it, but like in hindsight, I'm like, man, like I had a really good year. I averaged like 17. I led the NCAA tournament in scoring. Like I had 43 against BYU, and then I think I averaged like 26.5 in the tournament. We lost in the Sweet 16. But like I was so blessed and lucky to play with, like to have 3 years with guys like Hakeem Warwick, Craig Ford, Josh Pace.
Yeah.
And then D Nick came in on our heels. So he would have been a freshman that year. Terrence Roberts, Mookie Watkins. Like just to be able to play 3 straight consecutive seasons, really with Josh, Hakeem, and Craig, like 4 mainstays for 3 straight years in a program. Like that's how you build like a legendary stretch. But we went the next 2 years with Final Four good teams. We got clipped by Alabama that year in the Sweet 16, who had beaten number 1, I think overall. I don't know if they were number 1 overall, but I think they were. It was Stanford that year. I think Connecticut won the championship that year, but Stanford was one of the number 1 seeds, and Alabama had beaten Stanford and then beaten us, just kind of on a hot streak. And then our junior year, so which would have been Craig, you know, Josh and Hakeem's senior year. And I have to add in Billy Edelin. Like Billy Edelin was terrific. He was a pro. Like he was a terrific player and allowed me to move off the ball and play as a primary scorer. You know, and then our junior year, we just got upset in the first round. Like we were really good. Like we played the worst game of our careers. Yeah. Against Vermont the year they beat us, and still the of all the games that I've ever played in college, the one that haunts me the most. Just how poorly and they played well. I'm not taking anything away from what they did. They had a really good team. But like Hakeem had 10 turnovers. Like I played terrible. They had one guy that averaged 4 points. He had like 22. It was 9 for 10. Yeah. Like it was just one of those like out of like just awful.
Sorrentine, is that the kid's name?
Yeah, TJ. Yeah. TJ. He's still
like a 40-footer.
Yeah, he's doing great. He's good dude. TJ, really good dude. He was really good.
Great guy.
Yeah, he is. He is a really good, great guy.
Rhode Island guy.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he
really.
Was Brown. Yeah. Yep. With Mike Martin. Just a good person. But I hate them because of that shot. But you know, they had a really good team. But that was like the heartbreaker of all the years. Like I knew we had one. I think we had one more chance, and it was when Hakeem Warwick decided to come back for his senior season. Like it gave us a real chance to make a Final Four type run, and we had that type of team. We just weren't able to get it done. We ran into a strange first round matchup with those guys, and they clipped us, and just kind of devastating. But yeah, I just like the experience of the amount of winning that we were able to take part in, and the amount of like that core group of people that I was fortunate enough to play with was just kind of awesome.
So you guys obviously won the Big East championship that year in 2005, and then obviously that 2006 run is something that so many people in Syracuse remember, and it's I don't know if you would say that's obviously national championship is probably your proudest accomplishment, but after that, I mean that 2006 run has to be up there for you. Just kind of talk about like your mindset game to game, go through game to game, how hurt you were during those games, how you could barely move, given everything that you got. Pretty much spent yourself for the tournament that year. You gave everything.
Yeah. Brad Pike, shout out.
Yeah, to now.
Yeah, to now. You basically give everything. So just kind of talk about that run, and obviously 2006 was magical. I mean, that Big East tournament run in the Garden. I
think more so than anything, it was kind of like all the factors that had played into that moment too. Like we had lost at DePaul by like 39, and DePaul, not that they weren't talented, but they were the last place team in the league, and we were fighting for a bid, and we played at DePaul, and they beat us by 39. Like I walked, like the front page of the paper was me with my shirt over my face crying because I knew like we're done, like we're out. Like I'm playing my senior season at Syracuse, like we're not going to get in. And I had played like the last, I don't know how many games. It had to be close to 20. Like I had played the majority of the season with a stress fracture in my pelvic bone. So going in to the Big East tournament, like I was really, really injured all year. And then I had felt like everything I had accomplished, you know, a league title, a national championship, a Big East tournament championship. And now like literally I'm walking out the door and the student newspaper is going to say that I'm overrated.
Yeah.
Like I felt insulted. And we don't make it public. Like to me, I was like, you know how much I've laid on the line, like physically every night to be available to start 135 games straight. Like I'm injured. I'm not hurt. I'm injured.
Yeah, there's a difference.
Very big difference. Yeah.
Yeah. I have a stress fracture and I'm playing 39 minutes a night.
I'm literally gonna limp when I'm 39 because I'm sacrificing
I need ankle fusion surgery. All those times I landed on somebody's foot, I destroyed myself. But I'm gonna keep playing because I want to win. And I'm gonna walk out of here after I've given everything literally physically I can give. And I have to hear that. And coach knew that. Like that's why, like, of all the things about him, like that's why, like I love him, but he was the one person of anybody that knew what I was going through. And he didn't tell anybody. I didn't tell anybody. My parents knew, staff knew, the players knew. But we didn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
So when I needed him to be like, what? Like everybody needs to calm down and shut up. He did.
Yeah.
And we got lucky. I hit a floater in the first round because at that point it was like us or Cincinnati. Like that's how good the league was. We were the 9 seed. They were the 8 seed. We split. We beat them at their place. They beat us at the Dome. Like whoever wins this first round game is probably an NCAA tournament team. That's how good the league was. 9 teams. That was the start of how good the Big East was going to be. So when he did that after the Cincinnati game of the famous rant of the, we would have won 10 games, which we would have. I mean, our team.
All right. Not 10 games, 10 fucking games.
Yeah, there you go. And I was at the podium just I just kept my head down because I was like, I fucking love this guy. Thank you. But at the same time, I was like, that's not true. I believe in the guys I'm playing with.
Yeah.
We're just like Eric's a freshman. D-Nick's kind of coming into his own, taking a bigger step, who ends up leading the Big East in scoring the year after I left. I believe we're good, but we're definitely winning 10 more games without me. But at the same time, thank you, man. I needed that. I needed some of the stuff because I wouldn't have gone and be like, what I'm going through, that's not who I am. All I'm focused on is what you're basing me off is performance. So yeah, I think of I think of the national championship. You can't. It's the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
But one of the things I'm most proud of is the way I walked out the door, which is the way I walked in. I'm going to give you everything I got. I'm going to leave it all on the line. And I think I'm the baddest dude on the court. And that's just what it is. And I know the guy coaching me thinks that too. So if he thinks it and I think it, we're good. So when he drew up a play for D-Nick to beat UConn in overtime, and I look up at Hop in the back of the huddle, are you kidding me? No offense to D-Nick. But I walked out of the huddle and you could see it. I've watched the rerun during COVID. They played the 4 days and 4 nights. So I watched it, and you could see it right in the rerun. I look right at coach. I'm like, you want me taking this shot? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, all right.
That's it.
So I walked out and I took the shot, and we tied it, and we beat him in overtime. And I knew shit in overtime. My teammates did. And that was the beauty of that whole week for me, was I believed in the group I was playing with. Coach went to bat for me. At the same time, probably motivated the group that I believed in, that all right, you don't think we would have won 10 games? Watch. And that's kind of how it all came together. And then by the end of that week, I was literally before the NCAA tournament started, I didn't practice. I was done. Played 4 games, 4 nights dealing with the stress fracture. By the time the tournament ended and adrenaline had stopped, I was physically done. It was the only field goal in my only game in my career that I didn't make a field goal was the last game of my career. And here's the funny thing about Coach. We had booked the flights. We played in Jacksonville, lost to Texas A&M. He kept me out of the game I don't even know how long it was. But it was probably the lowest amount of minutes I've ever played in my career. I didn't make a field goal. The next day, because we had to have book the flights Friday to Sunday or whatever, we lost and had to stay there another night. We didn't fly right out. So the next day, we coincidentally ended up in the elevator together. I was coming down the elevator, and he said to me, 1 floor, 2 floor of silence. And by the 3rd floor of silence, he turned to me. He's like, I was going to try to get you back in. And he tried to explain himself. I'm like, Coach, you did the right thing. You played the bet. You played the guys that could have helped you win the game. I couldn't help you at that point. You knew I was done. I knew I was done. It is what it is. But I just appreciated the fact that when it was all said and done, he tried to explain. And I was just like, Coach, you play to win. And at this point, I was sitting right there on the sideline thinking, I hope to God we win too.
Gee, can you talk about your mindset at the end of games? Because obviously I think anyone in any Q's fan would acknowledge you as maybe the most clutch player in program's history. So the other thing is you definitely had this special way about you that it was you could be 5 for 16 and it's no, I'm still that UConn game. You're struggling from the field a little bit. It's no, I'm taking this fucking shot. Is that something you always had?
Yeah, I think so. I don't like to fly. And one of the reasons I don't like to fly is because someone else is flying me. You know?
Yeah, that makes sense.
If I'm
You're not in control. Yeah, that's why you like golf.
yeah, if I'm getting in the car and I'm we're taking the family to Scranton, and my wife's like, "I'll drive." I look at her like, "What? You ain't what? No, stop it,
Stop it.
knock it off." Like, I think I could always live with the result.
Mhm.
I don't think a lot of players are willing to live with the result of failure. I never feared it. I think a lot of people fear failure. I love the moment. Like so it's everything ever. Like if you put in enough work and you believe in yourself and that's who you think you are, like that's who I've always thought I was. I don't think I would have made it as far as I did if I didn't think that.
Mhm.
So I was always willing to live with the result if it was me. If that makes sense. Not to be like selfish.
No, that makes perfect sense. No,
No,
yeah.
I mean, just talking about just greatness in general. I mean, a lot of people who achieve greatness, who are great in things, that's how they are too. I mean, I think about that all the time for myself. You know what I mean? I think my first couple of years at Villanova, I feared failure. You know what I mean? When I came to Syracuse, I was like, obviously, the belief is one thing, and for me now, it's like I put the work in. I do all the things I need to do. I eat the right things, like, you know what I mean, train, and all the results that are going to be theirs. I'll take those results. You know what I mean? Like I mean, I'm big into my faith, and I believe He has a plan for everyone. So,
But if you're willing to lay it all out there, you live with it.
Exactly.
I'm willing to. You've gotten to the point where you're willing to.
Yeah, for sure.
When you get the chance to pull one off a down screen, against Nick, it's what I work for. It's who I am.
For sure.
You've prepared for
sure.
it. Mentally prepared for it. You physically prepared for it. You've dreamt about it. You've convinced yourself, I'm that dude.
Yep.
It's what we do.
Yeah, for sure. Kind of going into after your college career, obviously storied college career, one of the best, in my opinion, ever. You have this kind of fame about you in Syracuse. I mean, you would never say this yourself, but obviously me being there, you know what I mean? Like you go on Marshall Street, it's all Gerry McNamara jerseys. You know what I mean? You're still, I think, obviously it's probably between you and Melo the most amount of Syracuse jerseys there are around campus. You know what I mean? The kids still wearing those things today. What do you think made you resonate with the people of Syracuse? Like, what do you think? Obviously, there was critics and everything like that, but at the end of the day, the love that people of Syracuse have for you, what do you think created the kind of things? And obviously, your senior night explains it all. Just the emotions.
I think there's going to be critics in anything we do. I learned to live with that. Like people are going to judge you. It took me a while to feel like I don't give a shit what you think about me. I don't care. I think the thing that resonated with the people that I played in front of in Scranton and then here at Syracuse was they probably felt the same thing. Like I think they probably looked at me in terms of, well, first and foremost, you win a national championship. That helps.
Yeah.
And for a program of this magnitude, as storied as we are, to be the first group to do it, your group is going to be remembered. And I think probably so with me, the way people probably resonated with me is because I'm a lot like a lot of them. I'm not, like, believe it or not, at one point I did have a 39.5-inch vertical.
That was the highest on the team, wasn't it?
Yeah, me and Hakeem coming in.
Wow.
But I think the fact that I'm not all that different from him. I'm not an incredible athlete.
I disagree with that.
Yeah,
but
but
go
yeah,
ahead.
you have a 40-inch vertical, but I'm not an
40-inch
incredible athlete.
vertical, can
Yeah.
blow by people.
Yeah.
Pretty good
I'm
size.
downplaying myself. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think people have an appreciation for how I always appreciated watching like a guy like Dwayne Wade early in his career. And the reason I did is because I just felt like, I'm talking about like pre-Big Three, like when he won it
Yeah.
with Shaq, like shit, not even that. Like just in terms of his, like I just like watching him play, and the reason I did is because I just felt like every game he played, like man, that dude lays it on the line. Like he's willing
Yeah.
to dive, he's willing to, physically exhaust himself. He's willing to take the bumps, the bruises, to play injured, to play dinged up. And I think that's probably more so than anything is just I had to play a certain way to be effective. I had to give everything I had physically because I had to. I had to physically exhaust myself because I had to be as quick as I could possibly be. And I think more so than anything, and this is just the plain truth reality, is I've never judged myself in any other way than winning and losing. And I think that's rare. I do. I think there's a lot of players that, regardless of outcome of game, only think about how they played.
Mhm.
And the way I've always judged myself is, did we win? And that was the most important thing in anything I've ever tried to do was, did we win? And if we didn't, I didn't do my job. And if we did and I didn't play well, I was like, thank God.
Yeah.
I got to be better. But I wasn't unhappy. I was happy. And it was the G League the first time I hit that scenario where when I left Syracuse, when we lost the game and we got in the locker room and one of the players asked one of the assistant coaches, like, yo, you got the stat sheet? And he got the stat sheet and he was like, man, I definitely had more than 8 rebounds. And it blew my mind because I wanted to grab the stat sheet, not look at it. I wanted to crumble it up and use it as kindling in a fire because I was so angry that we had lost. So that's I think more so than anything is just I wanted to win. I think people appreciated that. I still want to win. I will always want to win. And I'll try to do everything in my power and anything I ever do to win. It's just as simple as that.
Talk about, obviously, after college, you decided you played pro for a couple of years. Had a good pro career, but obviously, like you said, you laid everything on the line for Syracuse and probably wasn't able to play the amount of years that maybe you wanted to or could have. But just talk about your pro career a little bit, and then obviously that transition into coaching and obviously the famous Coach Boeheim quote to get you into coaching.
Yeah, I think more so now, like as I've gotten older and the pain I've dealt with in my body with my ankle, I honestly think like my pro career was short-lived regardless. Like I'd physically put a lot on my body. I think I played at some point through a broken ankle, which is why my ankle is the certain way it is. So then when I went overseas and I didn't probably get in the right situation right away, it was it was a great opportunity in terms of the level, like EuroLeague, like the right place you want to be. It's like a step below the NBA, but it probably wasn't the best situation for me. So I didn't have I only signed for EuroLeague, so we were playing in multiple leagues. So I only had a limited amount of time of games I could play, and by the time I had a chance to play, the team had already. So just a lot of factors in terms of how my pro career went, and then the fact that like Katie and I were together, we were getting married. We had been married by the time I was already playing professionally. I just kind of set a different trajectory in terms of what I felt was important. So when I had the opportunity to be back at a place that I endeared, like that I loved, Like, I think I just kind of jumped at it because I knew I'd be fully invested in it. So like living in Greece or living in Latvia or, playing in Bakersfield or Reno or these different places I played, I wasn't kind of in love with the whole process. I think part of it was because I always thought I would be an NBA player. I think part of it was because physically I just reached a point where I couldn't sustain the amount of work it took to be the player that I knew I could be. So I made a decision in terms of what I thought the next step would be for me to be happy. And I don't regret it. Like, do I regret? I think the biggest regret I have is I think I was good enough to be an NBA player.
Mhm.
I do. I still do. No one will ever, I don't care who says what to me.
Yeah.
When I'm healthy and at full go, 100% compete with anybody. But I think the demands that it took for me to be that guy took a toll on me because of that mentality.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So I just had the opportunity to come back here and kind of rejuvenate myself and put all that energy into something else. And now I get to talk to you guys and
Yeah.
have the experiences that I've had with you. Like, I just really grateful for I think that's the greatest gift of the profession that we're in. I said the greatest gift and curse of college basketball, especially as a coach, is you get to develop incredible relationships with a lot of people. The curse is at some point they have to leave.
Yeah.
So like you've created this incredible bond and then they're gone and you're like devastated. But then all of a sudden you turn around and a new group comes in and you're like, all right, let me try to recreate it. So certain groups are like yours, like it molds who you are and it makes you appreciate what you do and motivates you to try to recreate it.
I want to ask about the like satisfaction and sort of, you kind of talked about it on Devo's podcast, but seeing a player that you spend so much time with, like developing and working out every day with, and then it works and it's like a drug where it's like, oh my God, like this is actually, like coming to fruition. And Swider, I think I said to you on the bus after the UNC game, obviously we were pissed off we lost, but you're 36. And I texted my brothers and I said to you, I was like, I think I might want to coach after watching that performance because I see you do these moves every single day. And then it's like fast forward to the Dean Dome. And whether it's coming off a pin down or like that little hezzy pull up with your left hand, it's like I see that every single day. And now he's doing it in front of people. So, gee, I've heard you talk about this before, but like kind of speak to how, I don't know, electric that feeling is, I guess, or intoxicating.
Yeah, there's nothing like it. There really isn't. I mean, yeah, it's hard to explain. And I'm kind of seeing it with my son now,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
who's he's now 11 and he's starting to catch the bug. So you just take a great deal of pride in the people that you've put the equity in with, the people that you've put these hours in with. And it's not because of ego. It's not because of I did this.
Mhm.
It's because he did this. He did it. Like, you're there to help him and you're there to guide him and spend the time with him. But because you've been there through that, like, you're like, I love him. I care about him. And he's worked for it. He did it. And I think it's just rewarding. It's just really rewarding to watch someone that is willing to put that amount of energy into something that they care about, reap the rewards of it. So it's it was really like those first few years I coached was like the Andy Routens and Scoop and
Yep.
Dion and Michael. But a guy like Trevor Cooney, like who redshirted, that 2016 team was really special to me because the two starting guards that made the Final Four that year were both redshirts.
Mm-hmm.
Trevor redshirted, and Michael Benajay had transferred in from Duke and redshirted. And I spent back then you had to sit out.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I spent game days with those guys, beating the living hell out of them. So I honest to God, I treated game day for us as game day for them when they were sitting out. So to see guys like that, especially that like were, a little bit counted out, see the level of success that they had, like that was incredibly rewarding for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because they did it. They were willing to put in the amount of hours that they did. So it's just it's a very, very difficult thing to explain. But it's the greatest thing we do. It's not about us. It's about the amount of hours that you guys are willing to put in. And, when you see the level of success you're happy with, like there's nothing like it.
Mm-hmm.
Trevor has a great quote. I think it was on Devo's podcast, talking about Coach Boeheim, just the genius of Coach Boeheim, how we're so lucky to play for him and everything like that. But he said that he went up to Todd one day, Todd Blumen, our video coordinator. I was like, hey, Todd, like, I'm not shooting the ball particularly well right now. Like, could you pull up some clips for me so I can see my form when I was making shots? I want to see if anything's different. And Todd's like, yeah, let me go ask Coach. So I guess he's like, all right, like, why do you have to go ask Coach? You can't just give me the clips, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I guess like he's shooting with you one day, and Coach walks up to him. He's like, Trevor, can you just shoot the fucking ball?
Yeah.
Don't fucking care about the clips. Shoot the fucking ball, son. And like, yeah, and like Coach Boeheim had this famous quote to me last year. He's like, sometimes you have to be dumb to play the game of basketball. Like, and I think a lot of times in college basketball and pro basketball, we overcomplicate things so much. It's like, all right, what ball screen coverage are we in? All these things, you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, it's shoot the ball with confidence, play hard.
Yeah.
Right. And I think Coach does such a good job of simplifying stuff like that. Just kind of talk about just Coach and his genius of obviously knowing every ins and out of basketball, watching every single college game there is, but at the same time, like having the wherewithal to be like, Cole, shoot the ball. Trevor, shoot the ball.
Yeah, he Hop used to say he takes the most complicated situation and simplifies it. And it's the truth. Like of all the things that, I mean, there's so many great qualities of him, but of all the greatest qualities he has is he's like, it's basketball. I say it to you all the time, knock it off. Stop it. And that's how he is. I think he just has an incredible ability to coach you, but still to coach you hard.
Yeah.
And kind of insult you. But still create confidence. Like it's the strangest thing ever. Like he could be like, Cole, I mean, this is like what a third grader would do. But you're not a third grader.
Even I could break that trap.
Yeah. So he's so complex. He's just so difficult to explain as a human being. Like he's a genius when it comes to managing the personnel. And I think that's what coaching is. Like you obviously have to have talent. You have to build your group. X's and O's are important, obviously. But you have to manage people. You have to understand people. You have to know who to push a certain way, what you expect out of certain people. And I think that's where he's a master. He's just, he's seen 46 teams now, right? 40, I think it's 46 teams.
This is 47 here.
This is year 47, right? So he's seen it 46 times. I mean, there's nothing he hasn't seen. So he's a master at dealing with people, understanding what they need to hear. And that's the beauty of him. And the greatest thing about him is he never sugarcoats it.
No.
It's always transparent. And, you know, we've all played for people that there's hidden messages and codes, and, you know, they'll tell you one thing and do another. He doesn't.
No.
He doesn't. You know exactly where you stand. And it is what it is. You know, it's the greatest part of playing for him and working for him. He gets the best out of every group, and I think it's why traditionally, historically, we've peaked at the right time. It's because he's consistently given a message throughout a stretch of 25 games. And by the time it's you to be your best version, instead of being robotic, like a lot of teams are when it comes tournament time, we're a completely different scenario.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. We're
Yeah.
not out here. We play off each other. We understand each other. We have different actions that we want to get to, but we're going to read and react out of them, and we understand each other around us. And we've been doing it in practice.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of people like kind of transfer in here, and one of the things that I've asked one of the kids that transferred in from a couple different high level programs, I said, "What's the difference between us and them?" He said, "There's no fluff. Like, there's no nonsense. Like, there's no stoppages of 15 minutes in practice that you can get across 30 seconds."
Yeah.
Like, our practices are boom, 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 straight to the point. If he needs to stop it, he stops it. If he needs to clarify a role, he clarifies it. And if he needs to pull someone aside, he does it. Yeah, he's a master at managing people and managing teams.
I think one of the things that's so great about Coach Boeheim is that, like, with a guy like me or you, the guys who are fiery, who guys who are just like him, like he's able to manage those guys so well, and he relates to those guys so well.
Yeah.
And that's why I think he was the perfect coach for me to play for my last year, because it's like he yell at me, scream at me, and I'm looking at him like I want to rip your head off, but he respects it.
Yeah. To both your guys' points, though, it's like he'll light it like the entire team up, whatever, if we're not playing well. But within the rant, he'll be like, "Yeah, Cole, Buddy, and Joe are not shooting well. They're taking shots. Like, that's what this team is." Yeah. So it's like every coach in the country obviously yells at their players, but not many are going to say, like, "No, these three are shooting no matter what. That's their roles. This is your role," which is exactly what you're talking about sugarcoating it, because it just, I don't know, it makes the way the roster is built just like, it's like not like anyone's, I don't know, getting something that they're not expecting.
He can watch practice for the first week, and he knows. You know, like, he knows what this guy's capable. All right, this is what I see for you. He needs to shoot more than this guy. This guy needs to play a little bit more than this guy. You need to be the spark. You need to be the spot minutes. He has a great feel for the people that he has in a group, and he can coach you like he did to you, Cole. Like, you need to listen, son. If you think we're going to win any games playing the way you're playing, we're not.
Yeah.
And then, like Patty's saying, 1 minute later in the same speech, he's like, Cole's going to take those shots, and he's going to make them. So he's addressing the team after he's directly addressed you.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there like, oh, okay. play better, but I'm going to take the same shots.
Yeah.
So he's got a certain feel for the group he has. He understands them. Yeah, he was, and like you tweeted out a few weeks ago, if you're a shooter.
Yeah.
Keep ripping it. If
Yeah.
you could really rip it here, you'll have the opportunity to do it.
No, for sure, man.
It's
GMac
also
is great.
great to walk-ons. All the coaches are, but I mean,
to you he was, not to everyone. Not get that twisted.
I'll take that.
He loved Patty Casey, but let's
I'll take that.
Yeah.
I mean, he did say
that went
Patty
even
Casey
better.
was.
That went even better than I expected when I was saying it.
Patty
Yeah,
Casey
seriously.
came in his first practice in the first two possessions.
You love this story.
He hit 2 threes the first two possessions at Syracuse and didn't leave the court for the rest of his time there.
Yeah.
Like it was like, all right, Patty's playing. And not only is Patty playing, but he's guarding Buddy every day. He's guarding Buddy every day in practice.
But I was looking at it like for the situation. I'm like, all right, if I go in and throw it off the side of the backboard 5 times here, it's not like they're expecting anything from me. So it's like, might as well just let it fly.
Nothing to lose. Just kill it.
No, I mean, Coach Boeheim did say Patty was the best walk-on in our program's history before the season even started.
I think we've brought that up every episode, so we should keep that going.
I'll tell you, we've had some really good ones, man. You're right up there.
I love it.
What makes a good player, Patty? I mean, Cole, like, what makes a good program guy?
Yeah.
Who's going to show up every day, give you everything, they got, lay it all on the line? You did it, man. Like, you did it.
Yep.
Did I yell at you
guys? Maybe like a handful. Not like bad yell though. I was like, oh no, you probably did about once a week, and every single time it was we shoot open shots.
Yeah.
Other than that, it was like never. If I made a mistake, it was like, yeah, just keep playing hard. You're helping us.
GMac yelled at me one time.
Wake Forest.
Wake Forest. That's a bullshit shot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
At Wake Forest.
But that's what we were talking about, the balance. Like when you do get on someone, it means more when you're able to put your shoulder and put your arm around them. Yeah.
I'm not going to yell at you to yell at you.
Yeah.
If I'm going to yell at you, it's because you deserve to be yelled at. You took a bad shot at Wake Forest.
Yeah.
And I yelled at you in the huddle. So we don't need that shot.
Yeah.
It's a bad shot. It doesn't get any more simple. I mean, what do you appreciate as a player? Like, do you appreciate as a player like a dude that just yells at you for no reason?
No.
Or do you appreciate like, yeah, I get why he's yelling at me like shit, and he doesn't yell at me a lot. So if he's yelling at me,
it means more. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's why I like at the beginning of the episode. It's like that perfect balance, and me and Patty talk about it all the time. It's
I played.
Kind of Yeah.
I get it. I understand it.
Yep.
I know what you're going through. And I see what you're looking at. There's no mystery to it.
Man. Yeah. Well, GMac, Well, GMac, man, that was amazing, man. Obviously from me, Patty, Jake, Adam, obviously love and respect you more than anyone I know, and obviously so thankful and grateful to have you in my life, man. So thanks for obviously coming on the podcast, making it Halloween night after bringing your kids out to trick or treat.
You kept me up too late, man. I'm all sugared up. Kit Kat, Snickers, and Butterfingers, Swedish Fish.
Yeah.
Eating all my kids' game.
This was 100 minutes, and I think we could have kept going for like twice as long. So
the last time I saw you
coming back.
The last time I saw Patty Cole, we had a beer in Scranton, Pennsylvania. So and the last time
multiple beers. Yeah.
It was a couple beers.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, it was a great day. I crashed the Hannon reunion party as a prep guy.
The only Scranton prep guy to be at
the
be invited to the Bishop Hannon reunion.
Yep. I fit right in though. It was fine.
No question. But I love you guys, man. And anything you guys need, I'm always here. You know that.
Always.
Sure. Thanks again.
Appreciate it very much, G. I don't know if we'll have much on the closeout here. I think the hour and 40-minute interview will probably be most of the episode. So
You guys exhausted.
definitely appreciate it.
It was all your fault that we exhausted. I didn't say anything.
I'm reckless, I'm dumb, according to you, but you don't know shit, huh? You don't know how I move. I'm rolling, I'm smoking the deuce. I ain't telling lies, baby, you know that I'm the truth.